So something I always encourage my friends who are considering documenting their life or vlogging is to just do it, because you'll thank yourself literally in time from a different point in time. So whenever my wife Kathy and I go on a trip, and almost always halfway through the trip where there's a great moment to take in, she would always say, let's pause for a second and let's time travel to the future, to 1 week from now, where the trip is over and we're thinking back to this moment in time and how we would wish to be back here. So since we're here, let's really appreciate this moment. I've always loved this idea, not necessarily because it's a great reminder to appreciate the moment, or that if we documented this moment, we can actually, it's like putting a pin in time and we can always go back to it and visit it for nostalgia. No, the reason that gets me really fired up is because not only can we travel back in time, we can actually travel to the future. Okay, let me back up for a second. It was 2014. Jon Favreau, producer of the Mandalorian series, director of the first Iron Man, starred and directed a little movie called Chef. In the movie, his son's character, probably inspired by the 1 second everyday guy, documented 1 second of every day of a summer trip where they started a food truck together. And at the end of the movie, we got to see what those 1 second clips edited together looked like.
Wait a second. Ready yet? See you next week. It's on the nanny. Here we go.
And that was inspiring. I was like, I can do that. Just point and shoot. 1 second, putting all those together, it would take no effort at all. And so I started to do it myself. And at the end of each trip, I do a quick edit, put some music on, and I appreciate that trip just so much more. But the story isn't about traveling back in time for nostalgia's sake. And in 2016, inspired by Casey Neistat's daily vlog, I realized that the potential of documenting doesn't have to stop there. I can capture what I see, yes, but more excitingly, I realized that I can capture thoughts and stories as well, and potentially find success on YouTube. But unfortunately, the last part is what tripped me up. Due to the success of Casey's vlogs, I felt like if I wasn't documenting at that level, then there's really no point to do it. So for years, I would try to, make a vlog and nothing came of it because it just wasn't good enough. But thankfully, eventually, I managed to upload my first official vlog, which I'll come back to in a second. But after uploading a few, my focus started to turn from, documenting my life to trying to make videos that I think people want to see. And when that wasn't really working either, I stopped documenting altogether. And it wasn't until recently when I rewatched my first official vlog that I started to understand why I keep finding myself in this cycle. It is as if the me from 4 years ago wanted to travel into the future and remind me the reason why I started this in the first place. You're like so glued to the phone.
Wow.
Wow.
Hello.
Oh my gosh.
Hello. Hey guys. Hey guys. Hey. Good to see you.
Are you vlogging now?
What's that?
Are you vlogging now?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that's me. No, not him. Not my handsome friend Justin, who was forced to ask his question twice.
Are you vlogging now?
What's that?
Are you vlogging now?
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm the one behind the camera. Yeah, that's me. The one who was too embarrassed to admit he was vlogging. Why was I so embarrassed? I guess it all has to do with why. Why vlog? Well, this last year, I was on a sort of sabbatical, which means after doing video game art direction for 9 years in Beijing, I could do whatever I want. I started building my own game and even started a company. I traveled a lot: Australia, Indonesia, New Zealand, Singapore, Thailand, France. And everywhere I went, I would capture these 1 second videos of everything that I saw. I would piece them together after each trip, and I would always appreciate these moments of my life so much more. So obviously, that's not the embarrassing part. What is embarrassing though, is that I believe these moments aren't random, that they're part of a bigger story. I thought if I vlogged and looked at my life more closely, I'll discover something. Like, what my purpose is and become the person who I was meant to be. Yeah, as a 34-year-old, that's kind of embarrassing. But let me ask you this. Have you ever had something happen in your life and you knew it was not an accident? That life itself is trying to tell you something? Well, that's kind of what happened today. But that's just me.
I could be wrong. Maybe it's a terrible tragedy.
Now that we've established that you can time travel, what would you go to the future to say to yourself? Or maybe the question isn't really about what you would say, but who you would say it to. Maybe you want to talk to your toddler son who is 1.5 right now, 18 years into the future, when he's trying to figure out, what to do with his life. Or maybe you want to sit down with your wife to give him advice on how to treat a lady. Maybe he'll be able to relate more to a younger version of you rather than an old man version of you. Or who knows? I mean, you might not be around to give the advice yourself. Sobering thought. Anyway, so that's why I'm starting to document my life again, and why I think you should as well. If for no other reason than just to be able to reflect on your life when you're 80 or 90 years old and your memory is gone, and you'd be able to look at it and be reminded of all the people that has meant something to you, and appreciate them and the things that you were able to share together. But for myself, just so that I don't fall off this documenting my life horse, here are some strategies I'm going to take. Hopefully they'll help you as well. And if future king is watching, pay attention. So capture for yourself, first and foremost. Just because a shot won't actually end up in a YouTube video or an Instagram story, doesn't mean it's a waste of time. A few years back, when I went on a road trip to California, I had planned to vlog it and turn it into a series of videos. But when things didn't happen the way that I envisioned in my head, I just kind of became a bit disappointed. And I let that sort of disappointment affect my whole trip. It was totally not worth it because there's no reason to get all caught up on capturing only if it led to a YouTube video. Because after the trip, I ended up making that video anyways. I just wish that I had, not bogged myself down with the pressure of making videos and just really enjoyed the time that I was there. So you gotta capture for yourself first.
I get a ton of questions about how I catalog all of my footage, how I keep track of everything. And the truth is, I am meticulous about everything. Every shot I've ever taken is perfectly cataloged.
Now, I don't know if he actually ever shared his system of how he documents his work, but if any of you actually know, then please let me know. But regardless, you have to have a system because that is the only way that you can make this sustainable. And here's kind of how I go about it. So every night, as part of my wind down routine, I'd spend 5 minutes just to back up whatever I shot that one day, and to file it under the year, the month, and the day. And as my files transferring, I would pick one video to represent that day and tag it. Now, if there's no stories that I want to tell, that's okay, because sometimes a story doesn't really show up until it's time. Something that I noticed was that even when Casey was not uploading daily vlogs, he was actually vlogging for himself.
Cool. There is so much good footage from that trip. Unfortunately, Candace is topless in most of it.
Like this video when he was digging through old footage of Candace and him.
I'm sorry for the bad image quality, but here's Back to the Future vlogging from 9 years ago.
Just like when I decided to vlog for 40 days straight, which was a little experiment I did on Instagram to see what it was like to produce content every day. And when I started, I was just doing whatever that came to mind. But it wasn't until halfway through and towards the end of those 40 days that I realized that it was a much bigger story that I was a part of, a lesson I was supposed to learn. Hey guys, unfortunately, every good story has to come to an end. First you set out to achieve something, then you're met with conflict, and then you overcome those obstacles by transforming yourself. Both you and I probably know this idea already, but what I didn't know was when I set out to do the 40 days of stories, I didn't know how it would change me.
It's longer form.
So a couple days ago was actually day 40 of my 40 days of stories. Sorry I hadn't released anything yet, but while I really wanted to celebrate, It also was the official celebration of Riker, Alexei, and Megan's life. Instead of doing mindless celebration, but to share with you a short clip from that event to sum up my transformation through this. In case you didn't know, Riker, Alexei, and Megan are influencers that died tragically 3 weeks ago. They have a channel called High on Life, and here's what one of their childhood friends who started the channel with them have to say.
But if there's one thing that the guys and Megan would want to say to you right now, if they had last words to you here, it would be this. What do you want to do? What do you love to do? Figure out exactly what that is and do it. Start putting things into place to follow your dreams, what you're passionate about, and stop waiting. Who knows how long life is? Like, nobody saw that coming, but regardless of whether you're going to live for another 5 days or another 50 years, 60 years, plan out how to make your dreams come true, how to do what you love to do, and start doing it now. Stop waiting. That's what they would say to you. It's really nice to see everybody here today. Thank you all.
I remember when I started this 40 Days of Challenge, I was in Bali, and they were as well, and remember seeing their videos. When I started looking for a job, I remember exactly the days where I saw their ad. I remember the day when I met them, and it was meeting them that reminded me to never give up, that it's never too late. And I remember the day receiving Riker's last Facebook message, and those days that following that I kept looking back to see what was next. None of us knew what was going to happen next or where our actions would lead us, but to answer what Parker said, for me, I know what I want. I want to go back to uploading YouTube regularly. I want to keep sharing the lessons I learned about storytelling and vlogging with you guys. I don't know how or when this next story is going to end, but if every day I can push myself to create the best content around storytelling and vlogging that I can and help those who are trying to do the same along the way, that is the venture that I'm looking for. That would be fulfilling the purpose that I have at this time. And as I was writing the script for this, someone in my family just passed away. Someone who I loved and was close to at one time, but for no particular reason recently have not seen at all. And for that I do regret not making more of an effort. My hope is that by documenting more that I could see the bigger picture and see, where I'm actually spending my time. Am I doing the things that I love? Or maybe I'm working too much? Or am I spending enough time with those that I love the most? And if I'm able to get a better handle of how I'm living my life or what bigger story I'm a part of, then maybe I can be a little bit more intentional about how I'm living it and focusing on those crucial next steps. And maybe more importantly, do the things that you need to do for the people that you truly care about. Or maybe it's having that conversation that you don't want to have. Reconcile with someone who you love but cannot forgive. Yeah. If you're still watching this, thank you so much. I love you guys. Be blessed and document more.